Today, we're going to be taking a look at some very obscure pieces of British lost media. I unfortunately suffer from the terrible affliction of being English, and I don't often see much UK lost media being discussed here on YouTube. So, without further ado, let's take a peek into the forgotten, dusty corners of content from the British Isles.
This is Border Television, broadcasting to Cumbria, South Scotland, the Isle of Man and North and West Northumberland, from the Colbeck, Selkirk and associated transmitters of the Independent Broadcasting Authority.
In 1963, Border Television, located in Carlisle, premiered a new game show with the slightly dubious title Cock of the Border, derived from the Old English phrase cock of the walk, meaning someone who dominates and asserts themselves over their peers. This competition was hosted by Derek Beatty, who went on to host the popular British game show Mr. and Mrs., and saw residents from the towns and villages which lie on the England-Scotland border and the Isle of Man compete in various activities to be crowned Cock of the Border. From the little information available online, we can glean that there was singing, dancing, cooking, darts playing, a school quiz, and a chance for contestants to tell their best tall tales. The show ran for 57 minutes, and matchups included Berwick versus Carlisle and Windermere versus Ramsey. Cock of the Border ran for 3 seasons, although episode lengths were cut down to 35 minutes for the third, ending with an hour-long final. Teams from Jedburgh and Douglas are known to have won. According to the recollection of a Mr. John Bowers, a contestant representing Castletown in 1965, the show was broadcast live, meaning that the chances of it being recorded at all are very slim. The only piece of media I can find relating to this show is this singular photograph, which shows 2 musical groups, the Vampires and the Hilltones, during auditions for the programme. It seems that the show is still remembered by older people in the region, and some discussion online can be found surrounding Cock of the Border, with people searching for clips of family members' appearances on the show. Unfortunately, this piece of lost media is probably gone for good.
Sounds so cool. I wish I could play guitar as good as you.
I'm not really that good.
That's not what I heard.
24/7 was a teen drama produced by Granada Studios, which aired on CITV in the UK between 2001 and 2002, and was also broadcast in the US on Nickelodeon's The N Block. It followed the lives of students at Discovery House, a dormitory at the fictional Oaks boarding school in the Yorkshire Dales, focusing mainly on a love triangle between the characters Miles, Anya, and Chris. Despite being a success in both the UK and US, there are currently no episodes of 24/7 available to watch, and the pieces of content from the show online are few and far between. There are some promos available on YouTube. The IMDb page does give us a fair amount of information on the show, including a cast and crew list, episode titles, and air dates, along with 20-plus-year-old reviews, which are quite an amusing time capsule of early 2000s teen culture. The show doesn't seem to have ever been released officially on VHS or DVD, and the last time it was rebroadcast was around 2004. As a British export to the US, there's a very good chance of 24/7 being found through home media recordings made on either side of the pond. While making this video, I was actually able to uncover what I believe is the show's intro, archived on the Wayback Machine. The link, which hosted video clips on the webpage, in typical fashion, appears to be broken. However, when looking at the site map, I was actually able to download a horribly compressed behind-the-scenes clip of Hayley Newton talking about her role as Tally. I was also able to access the show's synopsis, which mentions that it was aired in France and that at least in the UK version, it appears that Discovery House was named Darwin House. Could there be an unknown French dub in existence? And were any other localization efforts made, differentiating the UK and US airings? We'll have to wait until 24/7 is found for these answers.
Once upon a time, not so very long ago, there lived a big old grandfather clock called Oliver.
Little Big Time was a children's show recorded in front of a live audience at the Nuffield Theatre in Southampton and broadcast between 1968 and 1973 by Southern Television. A sort of surreal pantomime, the programme starred members of the British pop band Freddie and the Dreamers, chiefly lead singer Freddie Garrity and the bassist Pete Burrell. The unusual antics featured each week included madcap characters such as Chief Highpipe, Windy Bill, Sir Jasper Nasty Bonds, and the Undercog. Freddie was often accompanied by Oliver the Clock, played by Burrell, and this partnership became the focus for the third season in 1971, which is known as Oliver in the Overworld. Beginning in black and white and then moving to colour from 1970 onwards, the show looks absolutely insane and quite creepy yet endearing. I'm sure the entertainment was probably better quality than a lot of the media children consume now. Around 10 minutes of footage is still known to be in existence, with some of the only publicly available footage coming from an interview with Garrity in 1994 from the Southern Television retrospective show Southern Gold, which is available on YouTube, although it unfortunately has a vintage TV overlay on top. The footage was uploaded by who I believe to be the owner of FreddieandTheDreamers.com, which was a now defunct website dedicated to the group. I've cropped out the overlay so that you can get a glimpse of what Little Big Time was like.
Ceremonies to be held at the Royal Palace. That's great! Great! Hey, what's Inspiration Day? It's the Overworld's biggest celebration every year.
And it's got the biggest banquet you've ever seen. Step in line and follow me. Let's think around machinery. Try to guess what we will see on Inspiration Day.
Peppermills with aching feet, pneumatic drums that dig the beat, telephones that dig the beat, but have too much to say.
This footage only accounts for a tiny amount of the known 52 25-minute episodes which were produced, and unfortunately, due to the industry standard tape wiping policy at the time, the rest of the series is most likely lost. The glimmer of hope in finding Little Big Time is that it was also aired on ABC in Australia, meaning that they might still have copies of the master tapes. The show was popular enough that a soundtrack album was released, some of which seems to be available online. Reading through old forum posts, you can find recollections of people who went to see the show being recorded as children, one of whom is nephew to Pete Burrell, and at least in 2010 he still had a copy of the album. Another copy is available on eBay as of the time of writing, meaning that the music at the very least is still in existence. I'd love to see more of this crazy and creative kids show from over 50 years ago uncovered. Let's hope it's not gone for good.
I'm sorry, okay?
Ghost Street was a road safety public information film produced by Dean Films in 2009 for Newcastle City Council and Road Safety GB. Initially shown in schools across the northeast of England and then shown in schools nationally. The short film was directed by Stephen Boyle with makeup work by Michael Bertley, and was noted at the time for its realistic depiction of wounds caused by traffic accidents. The premise of the film is that a girl is knocked over by a car and wakes up in an alternate world inhabited by victims of similar accidents from years gone by. According to somebody looking for the film on the Lost Media subreddit, there was a ghost of a pregnant woman suffering with morning sickness for over 20 years, and the ghost of a child who was blind and didn't understand that he had passed. Tabby, the main character, doesn't manage to make it back to her body before it's too late. Aside from a few Reddit posts over the years asking about the film, the website set up by Newcastle City Council is accessible through the Wayback Machine and features some quotes and images from the film, as well as information and resources about road safety. The link to the trailer was not archived properly, but thankfully, the trailer was uploaded to Vimeo by Future & Co., who I assume now own the rights to the defunct Dean Films works, and is the only footage we have of this PSA, clocking in at 1 minute and 3 seconds.
Hey, slow down. This is my stop. Okay.
The entire film is rumoured to be around 10 minutes long and won several awards, including the IVCA Bronze Medal 2010 for Best Original Music, Sound Design and Script, and the Royal Television Society 2010 Award for Best Drama and Newcomer Director. It was also nominated for Best Short Film at the New York Film Festival in 2011. In a bizarre twist, a long-abandoned cycling blog called quickrelease.tv wrote a post expressing their concerns about the messaging of the film, and in doing so, obtained a Freedom of Information request about Ghost Street, which gives us some further information. The film cost £12,000 to produce, and at least initially 100 DVD copies were made. The council's press release was also archived here and mentions the characters as including a skater boy, a teen from the 80s who wished she wore a helmet the first time she rode her new bike, and a pregnant teen who should have worn a seatbelt, the last of which lines up with the recollection posted on Reddit. The response that the blog author received from the council also lets us know that the film was based on an idea by the local youth parliament and was part of a wider road safety package taught in schools. Ghost Street should be relatively easy to find, but it would rely on obtaining a copy from the council or finding somebody who works in a school that still has a copy and getting them to rip the DVD. I hope that wherever you come from, you've enjoyed this look at obscure UK lost media. I certainly have enjoyed researching these topics for this video.